continuation meeting. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting has been noticed in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. This commission acts in review and recommending capacity for designations and removal of historic properties and districts. The commission also reviews proposed National Register of Historic Places nominations. The commission has final decision-making authority on certificates of historic appropriateness. My name is English Hurto, and I'm the chair. To my right is Anna Johnson, Amy Garrard, Joseph Dukes. To my left is Vice Chair Donna Gardner, Michael German, and this is Andrea.
And I'm Andrea, Deputy Director of Zoning and Planning Department. I'm sitting in for Joel Evans, who is currently in the audience, but he has a meeting at 2:30, so we didn't want to disrupt the meeting by us switching out when he had to go to his meeting. So we also have Emily Piggott, who will be presenting, and Monica Eustace, Tamara Avery, Chris Cohn, and Steph Kondo.
And I meant to also introduce Assistant County Attorney Mark Bell. So I would like to remind you that in order to get a good recording of the meeting for the minutes, please speak loudly and clearly to your microphones. The next agenda item is the approval of the minutes from the September 17, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion and a second?
I move to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Chair Hurto.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukes.
Aye.
Commissioner German.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Vice Chair Gardner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gerard.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. The next agenda item is SBDV 0625031116, a subdivision plat application report. Chris, would you please discuss? Thank you. Yes, also, just want to also mention Ms. Jones and Mr. Halverson have also arrived.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Cohn with Division for SBDV 03116. The property TMS number 577-00-00-041, 2718 Hamlin Beach Road. Applicant is proposing to take one existing lot and create two lots. Here we have the future land use shown as cultural community protection. The current zoning is S3 for special management district. The S3 special management residential zoning district implements the urban suburban cultural community protection policies of the comprehensive plan. And here we have the criteria in the table. Current zoning showing the S3. The aerial view of the parcel, the 10-mile historic district and buffer overlay. The subject property is in blue amidst the pink. The FEMA flood zone. And here we have site photos looking at it from Hamlin Beach Road and the corner of Alfred Campbell Road. And then off Alfred Campbell Road, looking at the site location to the right, left, and to the front of it. Here we have the approved subdivision plat showing the one existing into two lots. Application review. The S3 Special Management Residential Zoning District implements urban suburban cultural community protection policies of the comprehensive plan. The urban-suburban future land use designation states the communities in this designation are located in the urban-suburban area and are characterized by low-density single-family residential development, limited commercial activity, and some agricultural uses. Many of the roads are paved with connections to county or state-maintained roads. However, earthen roads still exist. Many of these communities were recognized in the 2016 Charleston County Historic Resources Survey update as eligible or potentially eligible for the National Register of Historic Places due to their unique development patterns and significance to post-Reconstruction era and civil rights history. Future development should be compatible with the existing land uses and development patterns, and the residential density should be a maximum of 4 dwellings per acre. The application complies with all requirements of the Charleston County Zoning and Land Development Regulations Ordinance, including those of the S3 zoning district. Per SC state law, Section 6-29-340 functions, powers, and duties of local planning commissions. B, regulations for the subdivision or development of land and appropriate revisions thereof, and to oversee the administration of the regulations that may be adopted as provided in this chapter. And C, an official map and appropriate revision on it showing the exact location of the existing or proposed public street, highways and utility rights-of-way, and public building sites, together with regulations to control the erection of buildings or other structures or changes in land use within the rights-of-way, building sites or open spaces within its political jurisdictions or a specified portion of it as set forth in this chapter. The purpose, in order to encourage the preservation of the historic character of historic properties and historic districts, preliminary and minor subdivision plat applications as defined in the Charleston County Zoning and Land Development Regulations Ordinance for historic properties / districts and properties located within 300 feet of the historic properties and districts must be evaluated by the Commission prior to final determination by the Charleston County Planning Commission. The Commission evaluation, the Commission shall evaluate each subdivision plat application subject to Section 21-6, subdivision plat application reports for compliance with the cultural resources element of the comprehensive plan. The Commission shall provide a report on the application to the Planning Commission that addresses whether and how the application is or is not consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the cultural resources element of the comprehensive plan. A majority of the HPC members present and voting shall be required. The Commission shall not defer a subdivision plat application. Notice, newspaper, posted community interest, neighbor, and parties in interest notice of the Commission meeting shall be provided in accordance with the requirements of Section 21-8 notices of this ordinance. HPC can't approve, deny, or defer subdivision applications. Charleston County Comprehensive Plan 3.4.3 Cultural Resources Element Goal. Charleston County Comprehensive Plan 3.4.4 Cultural Resources Element Strategies and Timeframes. We have the strategies here, CR1 through CR5, CR5 through CR10, CR11 through CR15. As of October 14th, no public input has been received. And the notifications, 298 notification letters were sent to individuals on the Historic Preservation and East Cooper Area Interested Parties list, as well as property owners within 300 feet of the subject parcel on September 26th. Additionally, this request was noticed in the Post and Courier on September 26th, and signs were posted that same day. Commission member report. Pursuant to Section 21-6.d and e of the Historic Preservation Ordinance, there shall be no motions or votes for approval, denial, or deferral of this application. Staff will call the roll, and each commission member will state if the application is consistent or not consistent with the comprehensive plan. Each member will provide specific reasons to support their decision for the record. The reasons provided will be included with the Planning Commission presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. I'd also like to note that Commissioner Millar is here. Thank you. So we appreciate your comprehensive report. Are there any questions for staff from the commission members? Okay. We will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving your comments.
The first speaker is Garrett Bean.
Hello, thank you. I'm Garrett Bean. I'm one of the owners of 2718 Hamlin Beach. As Mr. Cohn had just said, the property is a 1-acre lot. It is zoned S3, but we're just looking to divide it into 2 parcels. Original property did have 2 houses on it, a primary residence and a secondary house. Both were cinder block homes on slab foundations. Both have been demolished at this point in time as part of the subdivision process. This is a flood zone, so obviously any replacement properties will be elevated homes and meet modern code. Obviously the 2 previous properties being slab properties in a flood zone really were not able to be kept. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys I appreciate your time.
Any commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. Any other speaker?
Yep.
Okay.
It's hard to read the handwriting. Corrado Mendez? Is there a Corrado Mendez? Once. Okay, got it. And then more. Myra Snipes Richardson?
Hey, my name is Mark, address 155 Earl Johnson Lane, Mount Pleasant, 466. I understand if they meet the comprehensive plan to subdivide the property. I just want to put on record that the right-of-way to this property is ingress, egress only, and the landowners near it, they have not given permission for utility and easement. So when sewer and water is coming through, there have been different to the property, and it's been a challenge with dealing with Mount Pleasant waterworks. Have permission to take water and sewer, sewer going across the 2 lots. It's in front of it on Alfred Campbell Road. One of the landowners did write into Mount Pleasant Waterworks and spoke with Alan Klum to let him know that they do not have the right to come across his lot to extend it to make a 50-foot right-of-way. Originally, it was supposed to be trying to be subdivided into 3 lots because they needed a 50-foot right-of-way. The 2 landowners in the front denied that. So we just want to put on record that they do not have permission to use that as an easement to go to that lot. Also, that that was just green for the community. So the part of it, understand the subdivision, just when environmental things come up, make sure that land is protected and preserved. But the landowners have not given permission to use their lot for water and sewer to get those 2 lots. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The report is now closed for public comment. This commission provides a report on the consistency of the application with the comprehensive plan. The report is made from the findings of the commission. The floor is now open for discussion from commission members. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, can I see the layout in reference to Hamlin Road and the other side road that this property touches?
You mean the aerial view of
Yes,
GIS?
yes. I got it. Okay, I got it. I'm looking at it here. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, I have a question for staff. I believe it would be staff. Based on the young lady's comment just now, what is the status of easements for utilities?
Well, I can't speak to what Mount Pleasant Waterworks may or may not have said to somebody that I have no information on. All I can do is go off of what Mount Pleasant Waterworks provided, which was a letter of availability as well as the receipt for impact and tap fees. So they are saying that they can provide water and sewer to these 2 lots.
But can provide in having Is that go hand in hand because it is a utility company?
Again, I can't speak for the utility company, so it's going to go down to the utility company to make those decisions.
I have a question. Is it fair to say that our limited role with respect to this subdivision plat is to decide whether or not it's consistent with the guidelines in the community standards here, and if so, which ones? And that's pretty much all we have to do.
Yes, sir. So you just have to decide whether it is consistent or inconsistent.
To concern ourselves with the public comment. Is that what you're basic? Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Discussion? Okay, so if there's no further discussion, we will vote on the report. When your name is called, please state whether the subdivision application is consistent or not consistent, and with which cultural resource strategy.
Chair Hurtel.
I believe it is consistent, CR 1 through 7.
Commissioner Dukes.
I believe it's consistent with through CR through CR7.
What was the first?
Through CR1, CR7.
Okay. Commissioner Halverson.
Consistent with CR 1, 3, 7, and 9.
Commissioner German.
Consistence with CR 1 through 7.
Commissioner Johnson.
Consistent with CR 5.
Vice Chair Gardner.
I'm going to say consistent with CR 1, 2, and 5.
Commissioner Gerard.
Consistent with CR 1, 3, 7, and 9.
Commissioner Jones.
It is consistent with CR 1, 3, 7, and 9.
Commissioner Millar.
I also agree that it's consistent with 1, 3, 7, and 9.
So the body is finding it to be consistent, citing CR 1 through 7 and 9.
Thank you. The Planning Commission will hear this subdivision plat application at their November 20th, 2025 meeting at 2 p.m. in council chambers. The next agenda item is HIST 0725000147, a request for a certificate of historic appropriateness. Emily, would you please discuss?
Thank you very much. So this certificate of historic appropriateness request is for the construction of an accessory dwelling unit at TMS 577-0000279, 1419 Jefferson Road, which is a property within the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District. Here you can see all of the CHAs we have received to date within the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District since their designation at the start of this year. And the Hamlin Beach community began in 1881 when the South Carolina Land Commission sold off former plantation lands to previously enslaved individuals, and that land was subdivided and sold off into 30 10-acre lots. Here's the location of the subject property looking at the county overall. Here is the location of the subject parcel in relation to the entire Hamlin Beach Historic District. And here is a closer view of the property along Jefferson Road. No previous CHA applications have been approved by the Commission within 500 feet of the subject property. The proposed structure is a single-story, 312 square foot building with an open floor plan. It includes a kitchen and sitting area as well as a bedroom and full bathroom. The interior structure will be framed with 2x4s insulated with spray foam and finished with shiplap walls, vinyl windows, a flat shingle roof, and vinyl siding, which is all consistent with the primary residence according to the applicant. The subject property, this is not the correct slide. I apologize. The subject property is zoned residential R4. which allows for 4 dwelling units per acre and currently contains an existing single-family home and in-ground swimming pool. It's surrounded on both sides by properties also zoned R4, and then to the rear by a property zoned S3. Properties surrounding the property are also zoned R4, like I mentioned, and contain single-family dwelling units. The property across the street that's zoned S3 is undeveloped, and the property the rear is undeveloped. I apologize. Here we can see that area view and photos of the subject property. The house in question here is the blue house in the middle. And then these are the surrounding properties on Jefferson Road. Here is the proposed site plan that shows what they're calling pool house. It's an accessory dwelling unit per our standards. You can see the existing house at the front and the in-ground swimming pool. There is also an existing perimeter fence that already is in place that ties into the side of the house. Here is the site plan overlaid on the aerial map. And here are the proposed elevations. So the applicant is proposing to construct a 312 square foot accessory dwelling unit clad in vinyl siding and vinyl windows. Material choices and shutter design are consistent with existing homes in the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District, both contemporary and historic. The size and roof style of the proposed accessory dwelling unit appears to be consistent with accessory structures such as sheds, garages, and other storage buildings, rather than dwelling units within the community. With the existing home spaced about 8 feet apart and at an angle to Jefferson Road, along with an existing property fence, the proposed build location for the new accessory dwelling unit will likely not be visible from the Jefferson Road right-of-way. The closest identified contributing resources to the subject parcel are over 1,500 feet away. None of these resources are visible from the subject parcel, and alternatively, the proposed accessory dwelling unit would not be visible from those contributing resources. Because of these conditions, the proposed site improvements will not decrease the historic integrity of properties containing identified contributing resources. As stated previously, the pool house will likely not be visible from any public rights-of-way due to the spacing of homes along Jefferson Road, as well as that existing privacy fence. No negative impacts to the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District have been identified. Therefore, this criterion has been met. Based on the applicant's responses, staff does believe the application meets the approval criteria and is recommending approval with the following condition: that any major changes shall be processed pursuant to the regulations set forth in our historic preservation ordinance. And we have not received any public input regarding this case. We did, of course, notice as required. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, for your comprehensive report. Are there any questions for staff from the commission members? One speaker? Okay. We will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving your comments.
It's Myra Richardson.
Good day again. Myra Snott Richardson, 2755 Earl Johnson Lane, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. With this parcel and accessory dwelling, I understand that it may fit the Hamlin Beach community and it won't negatively affect the community at large. The only issue that I've seen with this property is how they're going to get to that backyard, because it crosses over a small triangle piece that belongs to someone else. I'm not sure if they have the permission of the persons that are owning of that property, but they have a back that leads to Boston Grove Road. And the way the houses are so close together, how is it going to affect them getting to service that part of the property? So that's one of the questions that needs to be addressed. And I did reach out to the family. I'm not sure if they had an opportunity to speak to the landowner that's wanting to put the accessory dwelling, but that's a question that needs to be asked before going forward with making the plans to utilize it, because when they did the pool, they actually utilized the backyard to do the pool, Boston Grove Road, through the back fence across that small triangle that's right behind their lot and behind the fence. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the closed to public comment. For discussion, is there a motion and second from the commission? When making a motion, please cite how each of the specific approval criteria have or have not been met.
I have a question. What was being mentioned just now about the not having any kind of access to the pool house? Can you show me on the map where there's a problem with that?
So we did receive a call from the rear property owner. So if you can see here on the aerial, there is a small triangle property. So this property does not extend all the way to Boston Grill Road in the rear. When my colleague spoke with that property owner, they were concerned that this letter they had received was an attempt to take their property in some way. We assured them that this application was strictly regarding the neighboring property. And in terms of what they're showing to us, the only approved access would be the existing driveway. And again, this is just proposed to be an accessory. So here they're not showing any access to the rear property, but that would likely be a civil issue.
So you don't have to actually have access to.
They have access to their property off of Jefferson Road. They Boston Grill.
The only way that they can get access to that, they can't.
Correct. Unless they, engage in a private arrangement with that rear property owner. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Are there any other questions or discussion? Okay, if there is no further discussion, it is time for the vote.
Move to approve.
Sorry.
I'll move to approve.
Sorry.
I believe it meets the criteria in 21-5I as far as criteria 1 goes. As staff reported in their report, the architectural features are basically consistent with the surrounding areas. As far as criteria 2 of the ordinance goes, it does not decrease any aspects because it is not visible from the road. Criteria 3 does not apply, therefore. So I would move to approve.
Okay. So I believe we've already had discussion. Is that okay? Or do we need to do that again?
Just ask them if there's any, if not, call for it.
Okay. Is there any other discussion before we move to a vote? Okay. Move to a vote. Thank you.
On the move to approve, Chair Hertel?
Aye.
Commissioner Dukes?
Aye.
Commissioner Halverson? Commissioner German?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson? Vice Chair Gardner?
Aye.
Commissioner Gerard? Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Millar? The motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. This is the final decision of the Historic Preservation Commission. If any person with a substantial interest in a decision of the Historic Preservation Commission chooses to appeal this decision, they may do so at the Circuit Court of Charleston County. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 calendar days after today's date. The next agenda item is HIST 0925000152, a request for a certificate of historical appropriateness. Emily, would you please discuss?
Thank you. So this request is for the construction of a fitness center with gravel parking and a rain garden at TMS 344-10000016, also known as 1773 Folly Road. And this is a property with the Beefield Community Historic District. So here's the location of the subject property when we're looking at the county overall. And here is the location of the subject parcel in relation to the Beefield Community Historic District. Here's a zoomed-in map of the property along Folly Road, and it's surrounded on 3 sides by properties also within the district. The Beefield Community Historic District was designated by County Council in May of 2022. The community is located on the southeast side of James Island and represents a portion of the larger African American settlement community known as Grimble Farms. The area is particularly significant significant as a site of 2 Civil War battles and was also the site of federal camps and artillery positions as the Union prepared to attack Fort Lamar on Secessionville Road. The applicant describes the request as a proposed fitness to include the construction of a new 2-story, 2,995 square foot building with a drive-under layout to accommodate existing trees with a drop-off zone, gravel parking lot, and a rain garden. The applicant believes the proposed layout is subdued in styling, similar to the historic character of the neighborhood, and the layout is dictated by the existing trees on the site and the limited access and parking zones, with impacting the tree canopies as minimally as possible. The proposed roof pitch is similar to those found on neighboring structures. The exterior material choices are stucco and wood grain cement board siding to blend in with the historic fabric of the area and the low country vernacular. No contributing resources have been identified on the subject property, and total impervious surface coverage is 25%. The subject parcel is zoned neighborhood commercial within the neighborhood preservation area of the Folly Road Corridor Overlay Zoning District. The future land use designation is the same as its current zoning. All surrounding properties are also zoned neighborhood commercial within the Folly Road Corridor Overlay Zoning District and contain either single-family dwelling units or manufactured housing units. The subject parcel is in the AE10 flood zone. And here's an aerial view of the property and site photos when standing along Folly Road and neighboring properties on either side. So here is the proposed site plan. So please note that the design is a drive-under concept. The lower portion of the building is open on the first floor, allowing for traffic circulation to the back portion of the lot. To better understand how that is achieved, you can see the site plan with just the first floor space shown here so that the drive-under layout can be observed. And here is that site plan overlaid on the aerial map. This is the proposed east elevation, which would face Folly Road. The applicant also provided renderings, both with and without vegetation. Here is the proposed north elevation, along with those renderings. Now for the south facade, there are 2 options presented to y'all today. Option 1 here, and option 2 here with some more architectural detail. And here are some renderings of the south elevation and the west elevation. And the applicant provided these as proposed materials for the building. So the Beefield community noted in their historic district designation the significance of the community's ties to the larger Grimble Farms African-American settlement community and their Civil War history. The designation did not include a discussion of the architectural character of the area. The efforts to retain the existing grand trees on site are consistent with the traditional development in the Beefield Community Historic District. Since the Beefield Community Historic District has not identified any contributing resources to date, the application shall be evaluated based on Section 21-5H3, Commission Consideration of the Historic Preservation Ordinance. The Secretary of Interior's guidance for new construction within historic districts allows for contemporary designs if the size, scale, and materials are compatible with the existing historic context. Additionally, the Secretary's guidelines do not recommend introducing new construction that damages or destroys important landscape features. The applicant has described that the deviations in height, scale, and mass from the traditional development patterns in this area are in an effort to protect the existing grand trees on site. They also explain the chosen roof pitch matches those existing in the area, although it has an atypical butterfly roof design. There is also a large portion of the building that has a flat roof. The applicant states that stucco wood grain cement board siding materials were selected for consistency with the existing community. Although the predominant claddings within the Beefield community are horizontal lap and vinyl siding, staff did locate 2 existing stucco structures, one of which is a church. Switching the proposed cement board siding from vertical to horizontal could increase compatibility with existing buildings in the historic district. No negative impacts were identified. Based on the applicant's responses, staff does feel the approval criteria has been met. However, we do recommend the following conditions. 1, utilize option number 2 for the south facade, updating the proposed cement board siding from a vertical orientation to a horizontal. Also change the proposed cement board siding from vertical orientation to horizontal on all other facades. And last but not least, any major changes shall be processed pursuant to the regulations forth in our ordinance. We did receive 6 comments in opposition, 1 comment in support, and 3 general comments about this application. And we did notice, of course, as required. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, for your comprehensive report. Thank you for your comprehensive report. Are there any questions for staff from the commission members?
Thank you, Emily, for your report. I just had one question. Were there any other houses nearby with examples? And you may have shown them to me, but I forgot what it looked like. Okay.
Yes, these are the properties directly on either side.
Okay.
A mobile home and a ranch.
Thank you.
I have a question. Aside from the siding, which you all took a note of, were there any other architectural features that staff considered?
Well, we looked at the proposal holistically, and that was all that we came up with. We did work with the applicant, and that's why they had come up with an additional option, because we want to see some additional architectural detail on that south facade. So this was the initial submittal, and this was the second submittal. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
On the comments, okay. On negative comments or people in oppositions, what were their major concerns?
Yes, sir. So the majority of the negative comments were in relation to the proposed use of the site rather than the design. There was just a handful of comments that mentioned the contemporary design being something they did not prefer to see. However, the majority of the comments were related to the use being a fitness center, which, of course, is not something that's in the purview of this commission.
Any other questions for staff?
Thank you.
Okay.
I do have one. I might have missed it, but the design of the building, I don't recall seeing any design that looks like that in the area. It seems like that's just not in line with the character of the community. Did y'all see some other buildings that look like that?
No, ma'am. However, as I outlined, there is space for contemporary structures within the federal best practices set forth in historic districts.
Okay. Oh, and one more thing. You mentioned about the traffic going underneath the building. That's something new too in the area, right? Do you know of any others?
I don't know of any drive-through under project, but potentially the applicant is here. They might be able to speak to that if they know of anything. I do know that that was in an effort to protect the grand trees.
Okay, well, Mr. Owner, if you could tell me, did you observe any more buildings?
Hold on.
Okay. Do you want me to do a comment now first?
Yes. So as soon as we get him up here. Okay, we will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving your comments.
Kevin Hordorfer. I hope I didn't butcher your name.
My name's Kevin Hordorfer, architect for the owner. Address is 37 Cleveland Street, Charleston, South Carolina. As Emily mentioned, do you want to address the question first, or because
yes, please.
So the scale and height, scale, and mass of this building, the simple, easy thing to do would have been to put a single-story building on the site, set back from the road, the same distance as the 2 houses on either side. Because of the grand trees and because of the nature of the property, that was not the path that we wanted to choose or to proceed with. And I don't even know if the zoning board would allow it, but we also wanted to preserve the character of the trees, which was a big part of the character of the site. So that being said, we took that would have been a long single-story building and compress it into what you see here, and then being able to drive under it, although that is definitely not a typical scenario for what you might see years past. Obviously, you see plenty of elevated structures in Charleston County these days, especially in a floodplain. So that kind of all worked its way into the design of what we came up with and what we presented, trying to be as sensitive to the site as possible. It is set back just as far as the houses on either side. I also want to iterate that just a slightly further afield, the 2 or 3 houses on either side and across the street, there are 2.5-story buildings or houses within the vicinity.
Okay. Can I ask him another question here?
Sure.
So, when you did this design, though, for this fitness center, you were aware this was in a historic district, right?
I did, yes.
Okay. And you feel that this is within the character of the community?
I feel like it's yes. Okay. And part of that is just because of the use. And in my head, I think the fitness center moniker is not necessarily fit with what we're attempting to put in here. The owner who's here can probably speak to that more, but it is more of a boutique or kind of, it's a one-off wellness center. It has a fitness component, that's the main component, but it's also going to house local practitioners for all sorts of wellness pieces. And so it's definitely a very hyper-local, community-driven building.
Last question is, did you have community input with this project?
We reached out to a few people in the community. Unfortunately, never heard back from them. Both myself and the owner did. But we did make the attempt multiple times.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions for the property owner?
I have a question, architectural question. Again, can you explain, I appreciate the fact how you've used the Grand Oaks. I think that's fabulous, how that's the respect factor that you're trying to create the structure based around that. But explain to me again the design of the pitch of the roof, because to me, that is something that does not really fit the character of the area.
Sure. So when I referenced that it matches the pitches, the roof pitches of neighboring buildings in the historic neighborhood, it's the actual roof pitch. It's not the fact that they're going this way. So the roof pitches of those ranch houses that you see are similar in nature. We're just pitching them inverted. It does make a more, obviously, contemporary aesthetic. Mm-hmm. It also allows us to capture all that rainwater and use it as a rain collection to irrigate all the plantings on site.
Wow, that's cool.
Good answer. Appreciate that as well. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Giovanni Richardson.
Hi.
Hi, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. My name is Giovanni Richardson. I am the president of the Battery Island Drive Neighborhood Association. We manage and govern the Beefield Community Historic District. I want to address 2 issues that has been brought up. One, no one contacted me or anybody on my board. So community outreach is a negligent situation. 2, no one's addressing the drainage issues. You're putting a building up next to 2 houses. There are 4 houses in the vicinity in the area. And even though we have an aerial view in those grand oak trees, there is a major ditch that has not been maintained in the back. And that ditch being filled with leaves from the grand oak trees is already flooding the community around it and the neighbor and the property owners that's in the area and vicinity. We as a community convened and we have a petition opposing the approval of this request. And we have also talked to the communities around us, that's Needle Point, Solid Creek, Grimbo, Ocean neighbors and also the houses around it, and everybody else is also in not an approval of the request because how it will affect the outlook of the neighborhood and the historic overlay. We are working on getting together a comprehensive plan for what as the community, but we are really about the neighborhood and keeping the historical value in that area. So I want to say thank you again. My name is Giovanni Richardson, and I'm president of the Battery Island Drive Neighborhood Association, and we are the ones who maintain the area of Beefview Community Historic District. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
I've got a question for Ms. Richardson. Real quick.
Okay.
Am I understand that there were letters were sent out to the community members?
We send letters to all property owners within 300 feet. We also send them to anyone on our interested parties list for historic preservation or James Island.
We were contacted by the county, which is why the residents in the area of the district and surrounding areas were able to convene in order to us to drop the petition for them to sign the petition opposing the request of the appropriateness of this fitness center, gravel parking, and a rain garden.
My question was, are you a property owner in this area?
Yes, ma'am. I live on 1788 Arsburn Road, and we are in the rear of Battery Island Drive.
So, and you did receive one of the letters?
I never received a letter to my house, but one of the community members above me did receive a letter.
I would just be curious why you didn't work on that petition at that time when you knew those letters were out. You did not. You're working on it now?
Oh, the petition I have a copy of the petition now.
But there was an opportunity to get those letters in at the time, though, correct? In opposition. Okay. I respect the fact that you're working on that, but I know there was a deadline.
We had already had a petition already drawn up, and I have a copy of it right now with the signatures of those in the community and around the community opposing the request. And I'll submit it to you. I have no problem.
I would have to ask, is that relevant to our...
Well, this has already gone through zoning, correct? So we're just here to approve or disapprove the historic appropriateness of the building. So, okay. Yes, can you please come forward? Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
When it was sent out through zoning, we did not receive the information of it at the time. We did receive it after the fact. So we were not able to attend the zoning because we were not aware of this situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please state your name and address.
My name is John Pierce, 37 Penny. I am the property owner. I lived in Charleston, college here in 2000. Being a fitness professional for the past 25 years, I currently Fleming Road that I've had 15 years. I'm in a situation, and I was trying to get myself out of that and into an ownership situation. That's why I'm here. It's not a fitness center; it's more of a personal training center. We've got a couple trainers, and we work with about 2 or 3 people at a time. It's not a ton of traffic. It's appointment only based every hour. It's very organized. We did try to reach out to Sam Sewell and also I believe George Richardson. We left several messages on their voicemail. I believe they have something to do with the community, but we did try to reach out for some support. We didn't get any from them, or we didn't get a call back, so we did try. I believe, do you have the date the property was purchased?
No, sir, I don't have that.
Do you know when was the historic preservation formed?
In May, well, this district was designated in May of 2022.
Okay, I believe we purchased the lot about 2 months before the Preservation Committee was formulated. So after it formed, we got that information, and we've just tried to abide by it. We understand we're under those regulations, but to answer your question earlier, we did not know at the time that the Preservation Committee was formed. So those bounds, as well as the bounds and the constraints of the property of the lot. Like there, we had 3 or 4. How many grand trees? 3 grand trees on the lot on a half acre. So we're trying to work our way into creating something that would work for us. So that's what we came up with. Try to be sensitive with the community. If you even look at the picture, it's already blocked by a huge oak tree in front. I mean, there's already kind of some buffering going on. So we really tried to be as we could. And if you're looking at our place to the right, the Rambler House is being converted to a commercial builder named Unique property. And then the house to my left is a trailer type situation, and we are on Folly Road, right on it. So thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me speak.
Hold on, are there any questions for the property owner? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one more speaker.
Liz Singleton.
Good afternoon. I'm Elizabeth Singleton. I'm with the Brimble Area Association. I'm one of the board members, and this particular property is totally out of character. I'm a neighboring community. I've lived there 77 years. I'm very familiar with the entire James Island community. That's totally and completely out of character as far as the design. It's good to come in a community, but to try to adapt to the community. We work together, we're all one, but it's only in all fairness that when you're changing a house on a small acreage, half an acre is not a lot of property to park cars, put a garden, the little garden pond, and supply drainage, and put an odd elevated property there with a drive-through. It's just not what we're accustomed to. And I don't think, in all fairness, someone new to the community should come and decide without talking to the community, to discuss their design with the community. We need to work together as one, and this is not where we're working together as one. Coming in, usability, but working together, because you're incoming to a community, you want to adapt to it, and you want everybody to be working as a unit, and not this is what I want and this is where it's going to be. We can't live like this. We've got to work together as a unit. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. No other speakers? Okay, thank you. Okay, case is now closed to public comment. Before discussion, is there a motion and a second from the commission? When making a motion, please cite how each of the specific approval criteria have or have not been met. Want to move a motion?
Am I to understand that we can make to approve with staff's recommendation on I think it was a horizontal differentiation as opposed to a vertical? Is that correct?
Absolutely.
And what was the other? Was it secondary?
It was just ensuring that you select option 2 for the south facade, which had that additional detail.
Okay.
That was the only other condition, and switching them to horizontal.
I make the motion to approve in the condition from staff on the recommendation. I believe you said that was number 2?
Yes, option
Okay,
2.
Option 2.
Okay. Is there any discussion from the commission members? Commissioner Millar, would you please cite the specific approval criteria for the motion?
Based on the 3 on that we've been discussing, I believe that meets number 1. It is compatible, I believe, with the historical character. They are trying to use the vegetation and surrounding area to minimize the visual elements. Number 2, I believe it does not decrease the historic integrity. I don't see that there are number 3, so negative impact. So I would say that would be on number 1, 2, and 3, that it does meet them.
And so we also have a second. So no discussion?
Can I just make a comment? Just from listening to both sides, to the architect, to the community members, and just preparing on going to think about voting, it seems to me, and from what Emily shared, was that there was notice that did go out. And my concern was that why weren't there any community members who either maybe because they didn't know or if they just weren't aware in time of how to get to those meetings to be able to give their input. That bothers me just a little bit because it seems as though the owner himself made attempts to reach out to some members of the community, that official notice went out to everybody, and why there wasn't some an opportunity, or maybe there was an opportunity and they did not attend, to me is just a little worried in terms of why that input wasn't involved. And so I do think, and I understand exactly what the architect explained in terms of pitch and all of that. To me, that makes sense. But I do think it's important to have the input of the community just to get insight. If there are any adjustments that are still available that the architect and the owner could still make, even with the input of the community to represent the growth. The owner did indicate that there's even a neighboring property that is also going to have some commercial presence there at some point. And so I think at some point development in that community is inevitable, but I do think it's important to have some community input. And so I got minutes to make a decision, but I think there definitely has to be some collaboration there, but I absolutely understand the position of the architect and the owner. I do think that for the community to understand that if they're receiving information, at some point it needs to be acted on as soon as possible, because there are deadlines to be met, and you definitely want to be present at every opportunity there is to be able to give your insight. And so I hope going forward that the community continues to get informed and that they continue to take those opportunities to be present. It really is important for us to get your input as well.
And so, just so you know, we did do all of our notifications. We have not been able to identify a community leader. We had Mr. Richardson for a while, Mr. George Richardson, and then there was another woman, and her name escapes me. But then we've tried to get in touch with them. And usually we like to give that contact information to the applicant. So that was the only information we had. But we will get with Ms. Richardson, Ms. Giovanni Richardson, after the meeting to find an appropriate contact that we can send applicants to in the future, and also show them how to sign up to get on our interested parties list so you are notified in the future. But we will get you with you right after this meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a comment. I find this a difficult decision to make myself because of the community's input coming in late, but they're here. And I also heard that they were working on a comprehensive plan, which would be helpful for us to have before, so that we can help decide on what the community really wants, what kind of buildings. And this particular building to me is out of character. I just find it very difficult to agree on this being something that is compatible with the character of the community. And it's setting a precedent to me. It's a strong message. So I hope that our staff was able to help them with this comprehensive plan wherever they are in it. And I don't know if they even have the area appraisal, but all of these documents would really help us to make a better decision about this, and for the property owners to know, what things the community want or don't want in the area. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I've got a comment real quickly. Ms. Johnson, I understood you to be part of this back in the conception, and this was kind of a corridor was created. And I don't know if that's here or now, but it is a commercial residential, from what I understand. It also was notated by Emily that it is open for a just more updated, more, what was the term that you used? You said that there was allowing for more contemporary design, and I think that's something we have to open our minds to. That this is a little bit more contemporary. They are trying to, use the vegetation, and we have to look at that. I think that was brought to light before by Mr. German, and I had to think about that myself, that we do have to move forward. And, there is contemporary aspects that we can, include. But I respect your opinion. I just know that we have to, look at what's been presented, what timelines were met or not met by the opposition.
Well, I was on council when this came before the council for the historic district, and I was so happy that we were able to bring them in. However, this very contemporary looking building is just totally out of character to me. And I understand that the community needs to step up the game by coming out with a comprehensive plan so that they can put those items in the plan, what they want to see and what they don't want to see. I do agree with that. But for setting a precedent right now, I'm sure this is not something that, we did get some opposition. I don't know how many people there were in the comments that were citing the look of the building versus the type use of the building. The use I don't have any problem with. And yes, the zoning, I think it's neighborhood commercial. And so I know it's the commercial zoning, which is okay. But certainly it didn't decide and of the building.
I want to ask a clarification question regarding the motion we made. In the current motion, would it require that we meet the conditions that staff laid out? Yes. All three?
That's the current motion on the floor, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, again, not a question, but another comment concerning the letters or comments made in opposition. Once again, kind of forced, and I'm kind of like out on the limb with this one myself as well. I'm looking at what was said and then looking at the design of the building. I can't in clear conscience say that it's compatible with what's required. Again, I think this several times before in meetings because it or does not have a characterization saying that they want their to look as us yet. The decision is very difficult for me to sit here knowing that the people who spoke in opposition, not saying that they don't want the building, but just the design of the building and the roof lining, it is different. Character and the neighbor here is to try to protect the Gullah Geechee communities. Yes, I do understand change, subtle change, but this roof design that's inverted, I'm thinking through, see some pop up throughout the county, but we're talking about this community. And it's sad to think that we're just far, we've been doing this for so many years, and in my opinion, the priority should have been placed on getting that information in terms of what these communities want. That should be, and I still believe that that should be our number one priority to aid us in making a more informed decision. And it's very difficult when you have people from the community, a petition that we haven't seen yet, where people are in opposition and just the way the information disseminated. But if that document was in place, our decision here would be very easy to make without all the complications, because you, the builder, you, the new landowner, would know immediately by looking at their area characterization of what they want to see in reference of new buildings, new homes in their community. It would give us a guideline and give you a guideline as well to say you want to move forward with what you're planning, but you've got some guidelines. Here, it's almost like a free fall because that documentation is not in place. It kind of forces our hand to just make a decision based on based on the information we have here, but it does such a disservice to the people who live in that community. Again, I wish the county need to reemphasize that to other African American communities who's going to be a part of this historical district. Make that a priority in terms of telling everyone what we want our community or what we want their community to look like. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Just a follow-up comment from Commissioner Germain's comments. I echo what he's said. I would, though, reiterate that we still do have the ordinance 21-5H3, which is what we're bound to look at. And I think when we look at that ordinance in terms of what it calls upon us to do and enact, or what we're supposed to consider, I think it provides us, maybe there could be more, like the commissioner just said, but I think it gives us enough grounds to take into consideration what's being proposed, how it may or may not fit in with the local community, and enable us to make an informed decision.
Any other discussion?
Can we make a clarification? We just need a clarification.
I'm sorry, but public comment has been closed. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so no further discussion. It's now time for the vote.
On the move to approve with staff's conditions, Chair Hurteau.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukes. Commissioner Halverson?
Nay.
Commissioner German?
Nay. Nay.
Commissioner Johnson?
Nay.
Vice Chair Gardner?
Nay.
Commissioner Gerard? Aye. Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Millar?
Aye.
The motion passes 5-4.
Thank you. This is the final decision of the Historic Preservation Commission. If any person with a substantial interest in a decision of the Historic Preservation Commission chooses to appeal this decision, they may do so to the Circuit Court of Charleston County. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 calendar days after today's date. The next agenda item is the chair's remarks, and I have no remarks. Thank you.
English, can I make one comment before we close today? Just to the gentlemen that are just like, I want to reiterate what was stated earlier, just to try to have a dialogue possibly between the community and just see how far there are some things that you could, come together on. I think it's really important, and I see that you agree with that. So thank you.
And before we close,
Yeah, I just wanted to let you all know that the 10-mile overlay district is moving forward. It had its public hearing last night, and so it'll go on to Planning and Public Works Committee next week, and then have 3 readings at council. So, I'll give you an update.
thank you. If there is no further business, the meeting of the Charleston County Historic Preservation Commission stands adjourned. The commission will hold its next regularly scheduled meeting on December 19, 2025 in council chambers. Thanks.
Good job.
So that training you had, that's here, right?
Yes.
And is it downstairs?
I think it's in here.